how many of you have done grid work lately and felt like you were awakening elemental energies? I know that the first time I went to England 2 years ago, I felt there were sleeping dragons and I wasn't meant to wake them up. The second time I went, I knew it was time to awaken those dragons, and we did. In Avebury, we did that. Greetings and welcome to Activations with JJ. I am so honored to have you here with me to co-create this episode. What an amazing adventure has been over the last few months to step into the video realm, and I am just extremely grateful to each and every one of you who is showing up to comment and support me and cheer me on, because it's not always easy to be seen. I've been heard for a while, and that was step one, and now I'm being brave and being more seen, and I hope that in doing this I'm sort of maybe inspiring you, because I can tell you right now, I was the last person on earth who wanted to be put in front of any camera at all. But something that's been coming through over and over again in so many gatherings is that it is safe to be seen. It's time to shine your light in this world. And I have to tell you a little story. This is what I'm going to start off with, is story time. I always love story time. Love a good story time. Before I do that, remember to like and subscribe, because I'm really bad at reminding you that. One of the reasons why I do want to mention that, though, is because if you're not already following the YouTube channel, what it allows us to do, if you are listening on YouTube, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can always leave a comment. But the thing that happens is the algorithm will deliver this out to more and more souls who are looking for this type of content. So thank you in advance for doing that. All right, so I want to tell you a little story. It's a story time about my recent Rose Lineage Path of Remembrance virtual offering. This was a 3-day event that I experienced with over 100 incredible souls. We were all Rose family. We were carrying those frequencies, and we gathered to connect with the path of the red rose, the path of the blue rose, and the path of the white rose. Some of you probably heard me talk about this a few weeks ago in a podcast episode. So I'm here to give you a report, to come back and give you a report on some of the magic that unfolded during that time. Also, if you have FOMO, you can now purchase the on-demand version if you click on the link in my bio, and it's even better if you can listen to the whole thing. I was joined by some very incredibly powerful channelers and friends, and one of them happened to be my husband, Michael, who was representing the divine masculine. That was the difference between this Rose Lineage, this offering, and other ones that I've done, is that I really felt like I was calling the men, calling the divine masculine in, and that it came forward and unfolded and wove together in such an exquisite way that I couldn't even have dreamed of. So we started off with the red rose at the very beginning, and Michael actually brought forward a beautiful declaration, prayer, you could say, of the Brotherhood of the Rose. And it was such an incredible moment to witness him and the other men that came to that offering really feel welcomed in this space where traditionally it's about sisterhood and it's about being a priestess. And so I just felt so strongly like we needed to bring the men in and let them know that they were welcome. But there's another surprise that I'm going to share with you about what happened with that. That's not it. There's more. So that first day, we were guided through activations connecting with the red rose frequency. Of course, we had the Magdalene and we had Yeshua, and it was just this earthly, grounded frequency of the rose unfolding in us. The most hilarious part of that gathering was that at the very beginning, I remember last year when I did the Way of the Rose, for those of you who participated in it, it felt like ceremonial. It felt very ceremonial, like we were reactivating memories of a priestess lifetime. And there were mostly women in that one as well. A lot more women than men, and actually less men than were this time, because I think I put out the call. But I really felt that sisterhood energy, and it was again a little bit more serious. We felt very much like a ritual. This time, I can't do anything now without the divine child stepping in. That inner child energy came right through. So at the very beginning of our gathering, this this song popped into my mind to play. I knew we needed some movement because the red rose is all about embodiment of the rose frequency into our human vessels. And it wasn't by chance that this activation took place just days after our February 23rd Starseed Connection Circle, which is all about connecting to the new human template and being okay being in these human vessels. That's another thing that you can check out, and you can just check the link in my bio. That's free. That's an offering that I provide every single month. It's a Starseed Connection Circle gathering. We have hundreds of people that attend that, and it's a fun party. But like I said, I don't think it was by chance that we needed to do that. That was step one. And then step two, here we're activating the red rose template was what came through, activating the red rose template. So I played this song, and I think everybody was just beside themselves because it was not the song that you would expect it to be. It was definitely not the song you would expect it to be. There's a whole story about how that song came forward and how the rose was tied into it. And if you check out the link in my bio, you can find out by participating in that on-demand version. But needless to say, it got our blood pumping, it got our hearts going. And so that was the red rose. And then we were taken through a beautiful journey by my friend Janine, who brought in some magical frequencies of the Magdalens and just really helped us to embrace our human red rose template. So secondly, the next day was our galactic rose pathway, the blue rose, connecting to so many beautiful, beautiful energies. Now, the funny thing about that was that I would say about 2 hours before that gathering, I started getting a bunch of downloads. This has been happening to me a lot lately. It was like probably 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And I was like, why am I getting these now? Could you have given these to me like a week ago so I could have prepped? But no, it had to happen in the moment. And so I'm sitting there preparing these slides, and what came forward was really, really fascinating. It was like this prep and wrap up of the red rose template, and it was all about taking time to acknowledge that we don't have to hide who we are anymore, that it's okay for us to express on the outside what we are on the inside. And I shared a few stories about how it's time to fully embrace ourselves and the king and queen template and the god and goddess template. That's what came forward. Now, that was just an invitation. We didn't even do that in the gathering, but that was the lead up to it. And then when we stepped into that blue rose frequency, I immediately felt some interesting energies came through. We had 11th density Yeshua, who was connected to Babaji, and all these emanations of the Christed beings that have come to the planet, like Buddha and all of these beings, were sort of, they had an umbrella oversoul 11th density version that was known, that came to me as Father Sirius. Then we had the 11th density version of Mother Sirius, embodied in all the Marys, embodied in Isis, she of 10,000 names. And so it was interesting to see how they came forward as their 11th density oversoul self through Sirius. And there's way more about this. Again, I'm just recapping, but you can feel it, right? You can feel that beautiful galactic cosmic rose blue rose template that my friend Simi then guided us through. Was all about sovereignty, which was really, really interesting. The divine mother energy came in, and that was setting the stage for the white rose, which came the next day. And so after that was finished, my husband Michael, who stepped forward to give some reflections after the blue rose template, reminded us all of that incredible quote by Marianne Williamson about how our greatest fear is about, us basically dimming our light. And I had said this, I said, you don't need to dim your light anymore. And I got on a soapbox on that part too. I got on my soapbox. And if you've ever been in a live gathering with me and see me get on a soapbox, it's like 1,000 times what soapboxes I can get on right here on the podcast, because there's something about having a live audience in front of me that super energizes me. I have a dream someday that I will have a live studio audience, maybe someday. But there's so much powerful and just expansive energy that comes when I do that. So you can already feel it in my voice. That came through, and we ended that day just on it was a deep note. I don't think I could almost not speak after that one. The next day was the white rose, and my friend Natalia and I wove together our frequencies with the divine Sophia, the Sophia dragons. And they said to me, you forgot something really, really important, JJ. Remember, the way it played out was the red rose was sort of the divine masculine stepping forward. The blue rose was like the divine feminine stepping forward. And guess what the white rose needs to be? The divine child. So in that gathering, it was an hour, my friends. We did time magic. We had the most exquisite unfolding of these purity and innocence templates where we felt so held by the divine Sophia energy. And I knew that what we were doing was super important. In fact, this image right here was channeled by my friend Teresa, who I invite to anchor in and open the portals of the energetic portals of the gatherings. And she said, first of all, this offering is very significant to the Akashic Records keepers. This is one to remember. They are cheering you on. They are celebrating that you're doing this offering, that you're activating these templates. And secondly, she saw these 3 circles, just like this, overlapping and coming together and converging in the middle. And that was just a powerful reflection of what we ended up doing. I think you can feel the energy from it. So whether or not you participate in it, honestly, through the playbacks or however, I know, and I'm sharing this with you because this energy is radiating out through the entire collective. It's radiating out through the entire collective. And it was like shown to me that what we were doing was anchoring this in. Now, there's a reason why I'm sharing that. And that is because some of you have offerings like this on your hearts because you carry specific frequencies. You carry specific templates. Don't hold back. It's time to create those offerings. It's time to hold those gatherings, to gather with other souls, to activate together. Even if there's 5 people there, 10 people there, not 100 people there. We had like over 100 at ours, but even if there's 100 or less or 100 or more, it does not matter. What you are doing is rippling out through the whole collective. Your templates are needed, or you would not be here. You would not be incarnated on the planet at this time. You are here holding a certain frequency. Arakitia, usha, askunukuriya nakarakia, sakatisha, ora. I feel that like cheerleader soapbox motivator energy coming in. All the star mothers. Ashi tadakarekanaya, osa tatarishnara, tarakatai. They say, remember why you came. Just taking a nice deep breath. Woo! That was energizing. Okay, I have one more topic to discuss today, and it's kind of deep. And I'm going to warn you right now, I'm bringing out the Ascension Glossary. I know you all have heard me talk about it before. It's very deep there. And this is tied to my upcoming gridwork expedition in the UK. So we finished up in Mexico. Now I'm headed to the UK at the end of April, beginning of May. Some of you might have noticed that I had originally planned on doing it in June. But my guides had something else in store, and they told me, this is interesting, you'll have to think about this and if this applies to you. What I was shown, that is, if we go leave an energetic imprint somewhere, traveling there 12 months later intensifies what we do the next time. So there's something about the year marker point, the year anniversary of going somewhere. So say you go to Mount Shasta and you do grid work, or say you don't go to Sedona and you do grid work. Going back on the anniversary of the first time you go does something to the timelines. Maybe you can feel what I'm saying. I'm just going to kind of send this energy to you so you can understand it. This is why I'm going to the UK the same time I went last year instead of June. This is why I'm going to New Zealand the same time I went last year, early October. I have the timekeepers coming through to help us in our cellular remembrance understand why this could be significant. Revisiting places on anniversaries of having gone there before. Closing loops, sealing timelines. 7-year anniversaries are important as well. 7-year anniversaries of visiting a spot. You're coming up, some of you, on a 7-year anniversary since you went somewhere significant. And you might have done grid work there unknowingly and subconsciously. and you're going to be guided to go back there. Do not hesitate. This is important. If you can't make it in the physical, at least go in the astral. Yet. Yep, it has to do with closing timelines. Okay, we get the picture. Thank you. Thank you, Mayan timekeepers. They like to pop in for you guys. They pop in for the podcast more than they pop in for anything else. They're always anxious to share. All right. So we are going to transition into a message about the United Kingdom, the trip that I'm taking, and what that has to do with the idea of Albion. Keyword Albion. So let's transition into that through the Ascension Glossary. All right, this is an entry from the Ascension Glossary. This is an incredible resource, a free resource that anybody can share. You can actually repurpose the content here. They have allowed for this legally to be done. And I'm very grateful to all of those who put work into this, especially Lisa Renee and her beautiful channelings. This says, in the ancient days, the oldest name for England was Albion. The names for Scotland in the Celtic languages were also related to Albion. Alba in Scottish Gaelic, Alba in Irish, and Alban in Welsh, Cornish, and Breton. I'm Welsh, proudly Welsh. These names were later anglicized to Albany, which was once an alternative name for Scotland, if you didn't know. Many myths and legends have long existed that giants were either the original inhabitants of the United Kingdom or were the founders of the land named Albion. The mystical significance of Albion has been memorialized through poems, stories, and mythos. Together, they suggest the nature of Albion is related to the collective human consciousness and the world soul, to which we are all intimately connected. She also provides this image right here as part of this entry in the glossary by Sequoia Art, and it's called Albion Awakens. You can see the stones in the background. Let's talk about what the Albion is. The Albion is the androgynous human template created from the 12 spheres of the Tree of Life, which, during the fall of humankind, became buried in the lower dimensional fields of the earth, waiting to be awakened. There are key and code words that I am saying, and I want you to take a minute to receive. Let me say that same phrase again. That phrase is really important, that whole sentence. Repeating, the Albion is the androgynous human template created from the 12 spheres of the Tree of Life, which, during the fall of humankind, became buried in the lower dimensional fields of the earth, waiting to be awakened. Continuing on. This elemental structure of the primordial human template is located in the earth body and is made from the original cosmic blueprint. This original blueprint records the divine plan for humanity's ascension to the silicate matrix and holds the celestial records of humankind's evolution throughout the solar system. Take a deep breath. Ki ato shana ia tukoshi itirakno ko siabara ina sotokushiana karaya. Usi ana ariatoto siama ari katana iastotokoya. Uishianatari asquidiriana koshiana katia sukoyana karaya. We have an ancient order. It feels like Celtic Druid energy coming through right now. I'd like you to just, if you choose to receive, they are opening some veils, opening some scrolls in your body, in your DNA, especially for those of you with Welsh, Scottish, Gaelic, Celtic, Breton, DNA, either from this lifetime or another lifetime. Do a little bit of tapping on your high heart. Okay, let's move forward. It continues to say, the awakening Albion occurs in progressive stages, and recent Sirius and Canopus star transmissions are intelligently designed to stimulate the higher mind activation throughout the Albion body in the earth. This gently accelerates the shift in the mental body of the earth to reflect the higher mind consciousness, which is reflected in the stages of awakening Albion. This is so amusing to me because of the synchronicities. Some of you know that at the very, very end of this month, we'll be doing a special mental and emotional body harmonization with the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. This is a group activation you can sign up for and participate in. And if you can't come live, you can get the playback. It's a 2-hour long event. And this is not something I was planning on doing. But as I sat at the very, very end of February, when I was preparing for March, I immediately could feel the mental body needed some upgrades. And I talked about this before, but the 5D emotional body activation came last year, and I can feel that the mental body needs that. So when I read this, I was like, of course, the mental body, as above, so below, as within, so without. Let's talk about the Albion light body. Now, for some of you who do not know this, I am calling the Gridwork Expedition for the UK in spring. So it's actually at the end of April, beginning of May, Heart of Albion. And that is the wording that came straight through from my guides. I immediately felt that. And we'll be centering ourselves in Glastonbury and Tintagel. This is a place I have not yet gone to, was Tintagel. And so I'm excited to connect the dots there. And we have, again, a few spots left for that. There are 8 possible spots. It's a pretty small group because it's easier for us to do the grid work. But my goal is to continue to share with you, just like I did for Mexico, some of the pieces of what we do, because I know it's always fun to kind of participate even if you can't be there in person. Let's go on to the Albion light body. How are you doing? Take a deep breath. Call in your guides. Call in your Albion soul aspects, which could be like your Avalon soul aspects connected to the Druid lifetimes, the Knights Templar, the Rosicrucians, a lot of what was coming in for the Rose lineage, in fact, I think preparing us for this. When the Albion light body is activated through the Emerald Order cosmic heart and fully awakened by the Amethyst Order Holy Father, England, Scotland, and Ireland and France will be the first demographic areas to align to the King Arthur timeline through the rise of Arthur in Albion. This is code. What I am reading to you is code. Do not take it at face value. Ashoro yanahaya. Tika ashkonokoria. Yes, okotianara. If this is part of your soul mission, you are getting the tingles from head to toe. Does anybody notice a similarity between this and the Lyran lineage reconciliation project, if you were part of it? Did you hear some of those similarities? This is why we were reconciling the galactic royalty of Lyra and Orion earlier this year, so that we could do this. Moving on. This phase of the Ascension timeline awakens the stasis beings that have been buried deep in the lands and brings on oceanic waves of the God Source and the Christos Sophia rainbow rays, or round tables, code word, to pour into the earth grids. I am pausing right there. How many of you have done grid work lately and felt like you were awakening elemental energies? I know that the first time I went to England 2 years ago, I felt there were sleeping dragons and I wasn't meant to wake them up. The second time I went, I knew it was time to awaken those dragons, and we did in Avebury. We did that. I actually have an event coming up in Avebury. It's a 2-day event as well. So whether you join me in Glastonbury and Tintagel or you join me in Avebury, there are 2 places right now, or I guess you could say 3, that are significant for us. And it's all connected to awakening these. The same thing happened in the Yucatan and in Mexico City and at Teotihuacan, awakening these energies. How many of you want me to read that again? Because I already went off on a tangent. Okay, I want to read that again one more time for you. This phrase I just gave. Tune in. Connect in. This phase of the Ascension timeline awakens the stasis beings or dormant beings that have been buried deep in the lands and brings on oceanic waves of the God Source and the Christos Sophia rainbow rays, or round tables, to pour into the earth grids. I am seeing dragons, 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 dragons. The Albion light body is the diamond sun template of humanity's world soul. From Tara, as the Christos incarnate masculine feminine identity, and it holds the instruction set of the Pleiadian covenant, which is the future record and destiny of all humankind to return back to their original spiritual home. Their inner sun star, which is found deep in the raw center of the still point in the angelic human light body. Ashtatam uyitalal kitarai so uyanakara aktiaya. Usha ratasnorit knash dodigibartana ista. I have the Andromedan star mothers. Litushinmyar disnoiktara niasoina ikanaparati sanaya. Allow these words to activate cellular remembrance. Ishotoyana karakitia tokoyana karakitia. This is why we were invited to understand our human biology this month as part of the energy update, is because you are needing to feel these sensations in your body. Ashokiana aya ata etu uhi tana ati ato iana katia. I'm hearing the words cellular initiation phases, cellular initiations, cellular phases, cellular ascension phases. I'm seeing lights on a switchboard come on in rows, like rows of energy, rows of lighting on a grid, like stair steps, radiating out. Ashu katarakat yama. Yama, those of you who speak light language, if you do avian light language, bird sounds, that's something you can do right now to better attune your body to this activation. If those of you who do hand light language, go with the hands. Very good. They're saying very good. You're doing it. Don't forget your inner child. Oh, anchoring into the root, down to the Earth Star, down into Gaia, into her emerald core. Big deep breath, big deep breath. There you go. Anchor in, settle the body. Settle the body. Hold the hands out with the palms facing up. Hush amandiyara katara 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 katara. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Beautiful. I'm seeing the Lyran star mothers and star fathers come forward. The Ormas, the white lions, the winged lions. The royalty template keepers. Ashuaya. Garukutu jemdare kitsia de koshiana garaya tadikaya. Usha, 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 usha. Woo! We are complete. Sealing that up, sealing that activation with an infinity sign in front of your body. Very easy way to do it. Thank you. I accept, I receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sealing that up, tapping the heart space and the high heart. Ashwatadakataraya. Usaya. Ooh, coming back, coming back. Here we go. Here we go. Clap. Rub the hands together. Clap. Rub the hands together. I don't have much to say after that, except thank you. Thank you. Listen, if you want more fun, you can always join us in the starseed community. We've just rolled out 2 new parts of the starseed community offerings that are exclusive to the community. They're add-on offerings for the community. We are doing code exchanges, small groups centered on themes like Atlantean codes, Pleiadian codes, and it's these little groups, and we're just pinging these codes back and forth in light language. So if you're a light language speaker and you want to go to the next level, check out the community where you'll have access to codex. There are multiple meetings a month that you can sign up for. And then we have Project Nexus, a convergence point for grid playtime, more serious grid work with our prep for the UK retreat. So if you can't make it to the UK in person, you can join our Nexus grid work virtual piece that is preparing us for that. If this was resonating with you and your whole body was doing the things, then this is kind of what we've created Nexus for, is we have both virtual and in-person components. So everybody can join, no matter their ability to do it physically. All right, my friends, I am sending you so much love. I hope you can feel it through the video. Ashiatiada. I'm sending you so much love, and I'm reminding you that I am you, and you are me, and we are we. Thank you for having fun with me. Thank you to all the beautiful guides who stepped forward to bring you that information. Take some time to integrate, and so it is. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.